you. I would simply echo really what Charles has said. Of course, we need alternative economic indicators. Of course, also, I think that labels are a real problem, and that, people, it does lead to the tribalism that Charles has spoken about. I want to really address the nuclear question, because I have huge sympathy with Linda, who was talking about the difficulties of campaigning against nuclear when, in a sense, we've got our hands tied behind our backs because they've got all of the information. But actually, what we need to know simply is that nuclear is unsafe, it is uneconomic, and it is unnecessary. If you're talking about what's needed in your communities now for jobs, there's plenty of evidence out there that shows that there are far more jobs per unit created of energy when it comes to renewables or energy efficiency than there is in nuclear. As Charles said, even if we had a green light tomorrow, God forbid, it would still be 10 or 15 years before the first nuclear power station is up and running. That doesn't help us with the energy crisis. It certainly doesn't help us with the jobs crisis. So I think although the government is doing a great job of trying to keep us as secret as possible, and they are rigging entirely the new energy regulation to give vast and massive subsidies to nuclear, we do know enough to say that it is uneconomic. There are much cheaper ways of keeping our lights on and creating jobs and meeting our carbon emission reductions, and there are much safer and better ways. And so I think there's enough out there and enough people behind you to do that. Thank you very much.
In nuclear industry, in gas, oil-fired power stations, we've got to engage workers in aviation. That's why the climate jobs is such an important set of proposals and provides the basis for uniting the trade union movement and the environmental movement. The second point I want to make is that everybody I think here today, every trade unionist, anybody engaged in campaigning, knows the missing ingredient is confidence. It's convincing people that by taking action that you can make a material difference to people's lives. Well, I think everybody here, the People's Assembly, all those fighting in the trade union movement, all those engaged in campaigning activity, are here to challenge that insidious idea that we can't make a difference, to challenge the defeatism and fatalism that has affected the trade union movement and popular protest in Britain for far too long, and to show that we should have confidence that another world really is possible.
I'll try to be incredibly brief, and I'm going to just tackle one question. I think you asked about the ideological debate being part of the last century. It's socialism, about PR. Well, I don't know about that, but I tell you what I know. We wouldn't have 4,000 people here today if the ideological question had been settled. We are here today because we want to see a different world. 1 million people were out in Brazil yesterday because they want to see a better world. Millions upon millions of people have been out across the Middle East because they want to see a better world. I'm a socialist. I'm proud to be a socialist. I understand that people here might not share all my views, but I tell you, the ideological debate is far from settled. If we want to have justice, if we want to have a just world, we are going to have to create a better one. And that means we're going to have some debates about what we think the future can bring for all of us.
Now on, do have a look at all the stalls. There are some brilliant pamphlets there that explain a lot more in a lot of detail about a constructive way going forward. Do have a look at those. Thank you very much. Go and have some lunch and choose your sessions for the rest of the day.